Hi, friends. It's Julie Henriquez from Your Ladders. I'm looking at myself in the camera, and my hair looks a little bit like David Lynch, but I'm going to live with it. I hope that you are all well on this Wednesday afternoon at 2 o'clock. And I actually will probably send out a poll or ask folks if there's a better time for me to do these, because I'm happy to switch it up or do them more than once a week. But thank you for watching, if not live, then on replay, because I know that folks do watch them in replay, and I really appreciate that. And I am here this week to talk to you a little bit about the blog post that I did this week, which is called What is Your Why? But before I get there, I want to talk about the name Your Ladders and why I called Your Ladders, and my thinking behind it. Because people ask the question, once I explain, they go, oh, that's interesting, or that's good, that makes sense. And so let's talk about that. Sorry, my phone started talking to me. I think it was me talking to me. So let me explain why I did that. I have been working in the arts for over 30 years, and I know a lot of artists in all different sorts of paths. And I have been teaching arts administration for, almost 15 years, over 10. I've also, in my other life, I'm a published author. So I understand the path to a degree, although my teaching and my working has been focused on the performing arts. And I know that artists have obstacles in their path, and some of them are real, and some of them are perceived because of lack of knowledge. And the real ones are around funding, they're around, opportunities, they're around all the stuff that, we need to wrestle with. They're around, and these are for folks in the U.S., around their work not being considered real work, or not being valued the way it should be. I know that that's wrong. I know that artists' work makes all the difference in the world, and I know that your path is real. So there's that. But some of the perceived obstacles are around business, or around, understanding, or self-promotion, or things like that. And so I created Your Ladders to help artists build ladders over those obstacles. So well, I know that the work is hard and everything else, and not everyone has success, whatever that means. And I talk about that a lot. If you ever see me speak about success not having monetary value all the time, sometimes success is also is perceived value, or it is about the impact on society. And in those ways, artists are all successful, no matter what path you're on, because you're doing work that matters. But if you weigh it by monetary success in our culture, then it's a hard path. It's a really hard path, and it's made harder by the lack of support. So Your Ladders is to help folks understand some of those obstacles and get over some of them. And that's why I named it that. And that's sort of the metaphor I think about when I'm creating courses, or when I'm writing a blog post, or when I'm doing a video, or when I'm doing a webinar, is what value can I give artists so that they can get over those obstacles? And how can I support them? And one of the conversations I've been having a lot recently has been about sort of things that are, doable or actionable, or, Julie, how do I do this? And I'm actually creating 3 mini courses right now, one on networking, one on pitches and presentations, and one on self-promotion, that are going to be mini courses, because I've had so many questions about them. It's like, okay, let me offer this and figure out a way to help people with that. So stay tuned. But the other question I've been getting, or the conversation I've been having people, has been about burnout and artistic burnout. And sort of, you're juggling 17 things to make it all work. and then you lose track, or you lose heart, or you feel burned out, and how do you get back to where you were? So I decided that I was going to spend the month of March, starting this week, which is technically still February, but then I'm going to continue it through March, and write blog posts and create worksheets to help people with these questions, as they're just looking to sort of reground themselves, or maybe create a mindset shift so that they can do the work that they want to do, or are called to do. So the first one I'm doing, and I pause because this is a big conversation. It's one that we all have, right? That we need to sort of reassess. And the wonderful thing about being an artist is that you're tuned into that assessment. You're tuned into those questions. I think a lot of people ignore them. Like, what's my purpose? They ignore that. But being an artist, you are tuned into the thinking around that. And that's both a blessing and a curse, right? Because you can't avoid the thinking. So I created a worksheet this week, and I wrote a blog post about what is your why. And the questions I ask on the worksheet and that I talk about in the blog post are just assessments that you can do at your own pace and however you want to do it. What called you to being an artist? Like, what do you do? What's your artistic practice? And why? When did you start? What called you to it? How do you feel about where you are right now? And remembering the reason that you started on this journey. Many of us start on one journey and we end up in different journeys, and that's cool, and that's part of it. But what got you started? And remembering that feeling of passion or of interest that got you started on the path. We need to remember that sometimes, and we need to let ourselves remember that, and then try to align back to that path as best we can. And the next blog posts and worksheets will all have to do with that sort of thing as well. Next week's will be about how do you want people to perceive you in your work, and what are you doing to help manifest those perceptions. It's not strictly this process isn't strictly about marketing, which, unique value statement, you've heard me talk about that before. This is actually an internal process of, what do I want my mark to be? What's the work I'm doing? How much joy does it give me? What are my dreams for my work? And, how do I move? How do I move forward? And I'm really interested in that. I'm interested in empowering artists, using the tools I have on my management brain, to give folks tools to answer those questions and to wrestle with it. Because while I know that there are business skills that will help artists, the fact is that the arts are different. We can talk about marketing the arts, and we can talk about fundraising, but fundraising for the arts, marketing for the arts are different. There's a you're marketing something that's an experience, and that's a different set of skills, and that's a different set of abilities, and that's a different messaging opportunity. So that's what I'm wrestling with and thinking about. So I thought, while I'm thinking about this stuff, let's use March as a mindset shift, or our grounding, for all of us to sort of recognize the important work that we do. No matter what you're doing, no matter what level you're doing it at, you're doing important work, because you're putting creative energy into the world. And I truly know that and believe that. But you're also being called to do a greater good, and that's exhausting. And sometimes you need to step away, or you need to reboot, or you need to remember why you were called. And so hopefully this series will help you with that. I'm going to put the links to the blog post and also to the worksheet in the comments of this Facebook Live. And I know a couple of people are watching this, and I'm happy to answer any questions. But I'm also, feel free to comment, feel free to email me, feel free to reach out with anything. Julie, I don't understand how to this, or whatever. And as I said, I've been talking to a lot of folks and working on different different ways to help people get over those obstacles. Some things, again, using my ladder metaphor, which I do love, some things are ladders and some things are step stools, right? They're just like, I just need to know how to do this one thing. Can you give me the 5 things I need to think about? And I can do that. And then there are bigger issues that need to be tackled, and I can help with those as well. Your work is important, and I'm grateful to folks who are doing the work. Whether you're in the performing arts, the visual arts, or you're a writer, whatever you're doing, you're contributing to the good energy that is going to help make this world a better place. So thank you for doing that work. And I really appreciate you watching this Facebook Live, perhaps not live, but perhaps on tape. And again, feel free to comment or reach out, and I'll put my email in the comments as well. So if you want to email me, feel free to. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much. Do check out the blog post and download the worksheet, because as I said, we're going to do a whole process throughout the month. And it's an important place to start, is what is your why? Why are you an artist? Let's start there and then move forward. Thank you very much.